Yo, what is up, guys? XRP is at $1.08 right now in CoinMarketCap. Our first tweet comes from Bank XRP. Bipartisan momentum builds on the Clarity Act, but Senate passage still needs 60 votes amid ethics and illicit finance debates. Our next tweet comes from Ripple XRP. Boom! U.S. Congressman Brian Steele says that the Senate will pass the Clarity Act next week. It's happening. Let's watch this video.
You and other members of the Financial Services Committee are in New York to hold a field hearing on this bill. What can you tell us about the Clarity Act?
This is our opportunity to put real and substantive legislation on the floor and provide regulatory clarity in the digital assets space. Again, this is an example of the House doing its job. We passed this now approximately a year ago. The Senate has been struggling to move this forward. I'm optimistic that we get this across the line next week in the United States Senate. It's absolutely essential that the United States sets the gold standard for regulations in the digital asset space, that we unlock so much capital, human capital and financial capital that will come into these markets in the United States of America in a regulatory regime that protects consumers. Clarity does that. It's passed the House. It's time for the Senate to act.
Well,
Smash that subscribe button and hit that like button if you believe XRP will reach $3 again this year. Our next tweet comes from the Crypto Squire, XRP's next chapter. Ripple estimates that once the Clarity Act is enacted, banks could move to integrate XRP in just 3 weeks. Institutional adoption could accelerate quickly. Our next tweet comes from Zave Crypto, Senator Bill Haggerty on Clarity. We will get it done because we have to get it done. The real question per Haggerty: can Congress navigate the political calendar to pass it sooner rather than later? Let's watch this video.
It's done first, and I've heard the same thing about Genius in terms of the consequential nature of it, but it's done. Again, it took a lot of work and a great team to make that happen. And with respect to Clarity, Rebecca, we will get it done because we have to get it done. I just think that the question is, can we navigate the political climate right now? Can we navigate the political climate and calendar, I think, to be more specific, in a way that gets it done sooner than later? I hope we can.
That makes sense. Well,
Our next tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. Big breaking. Republican Brian Steele announces, I'm optimistic that we get this, the Clarity Act, across the line next week. It's absolutely essential that the United States sets the gold standard for regulations in the digital asset space. Let's watch this video.
all right, let me ask you about Senate Republicans meeting with President Trump yesterday, hoping to get his stamp of approval on the updated language for the Clarity Act. The House sent it to the Senate a year ago, and Senator Cynthia Lummis was with me here earlier in the week, and she said that this bill will likely be brought to the floor in the next week, Congressman. A lot of people writing on this and business writing on this. You and other members of the Financial Services Committee are in New York to hold a field hearing on this bill. What can you tell us about the Clarity Act?
This is our opportunity to put real and substantive legislation on the floor and provide regulatory clarity in the digital assets space. Again, this is an example of the House doing its job. We passed this now approximately a year ago. The Senate has been struggling to move this forward. I'm optimistic that we get this across the line next week in the United States Senate. It's absolutely essential that the United States sets the gold standard for regulations in the digital asset space, that we unlock so much capital, human capital and financial capital that will come into these markets in the United States of America in a regulatory regime that protects consumers. Clarity does that. It's passed the House. It's time for the Senate to act.
Well, the Senate is wrangling with Democrats over the language on ethics, Congressman. You know that.
Well, individuals that are concerned about the broader ethics reforms, and I think that there is a need to look at this, actually should be supportive of the bill. If an individual is concerned about how meme coins were treated under President Biden's appointment of Gary Gensler, all the more reason to move forward Clarity, to put a regulatory structure in place to make sure that we're regulating good and bad actors. The good actors in the space want the bad actors to be regulated. We all want the bad actors out. The Clarity Act provides a regulatory environment to be able to do just that. And so the individuals that grandstand on the ethics side should be more supportive than anyone else about moving Clarity across the line.
Our next tweet comes from the Crypto Squire. Clarity Week is here. Patrick Witt, advisor to the Presidential Council on Digital Assets, says a big week is ahead for crypto regulation clarity. With Ripple, Coinbase, and 200 plus crypto firms pushing for action, the pressure is on. XRP holders are watching closely. Our next tweet comes from Bitcoin Magazine. New Blockchain Association Board Chair tells Fox there have been a lot of negotiations with Democrats, and there has been a lot of bipartisan support. Once we get this passed, we are going to see an unleashing of economic activity around the crypto space. Let's watch this video.
The Clarity Act and these conflict of interest provisions are critical here, and they need to be acceptable to President Trump. The problem is the Senate Democrats want to put in ethics rules that would ensure that the president and his family and people attached to him can't benefit from any crypto business. I mean, if that's the case, the president's just going to veto it.
Right. We need to have something that is workable for the president. And you have to remember the beauty of the way that they're doing this is the rules apply not just to the president, but also to the Congress. And so this is something that everyone, regardless of who's in power, are going to have to live by. And so it's important they get them done right. I think it is an important issue, though, for the Democrats and one that we do need to see addressed. But I do think they can get there. I mean, we have come so far with this legislation since the House passed the Clarity Act a year ago. There have been a lot of negotiations with Democrats. There have been new disclosure provisions added. There's a whole new section on illicit finance. They've beefed up the way that they're going to regulate the spot exchanges. So there has been a lot of bipartisan input into this bill, and it is the best, most comprehensive language we have seen. And I think once we get this passed, we are going to see an unleashing of economic activity around the crypto space. We're going to see an upgrade to our financial services system. We're going to see more traditional institutions adopt crypto technology and integrate it into their services. We're going to see costs come down, and we're going to see transaction speeds go up. And so I think this is a real opportunity. I think this is a legacy-making moment for the president, and I think this is something that both sides of the aisle really do want to get done and that we can get done before the August recess.
Our next tweet comes from Bitcoin Magazine. Justin, Representative Timmons says the Clarity Act is incredibly important in maintaining the U.S. economy as the center of the global economy. During today's hearing, we're on the 1-yard line. We just got to score the touchdown. Let's watch this video.
The Clarity Act is incredibly important in maintaining the U.S. economy as the center of the global economy. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, to the extent that this is going to be a technology that is infused into the businesses of all these other witnesses here, like, it is imperative that that be within the structures, just like our securities markets are, just like our derivatives markets are, right? I think part of the reason of their success over the years has been the regulatory environment in which they get to operate.
Thank you for that. We're on the 1-yard line. We just got to score the touchdown. With that, I yield back. Thank you.
Our next tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. Clarity Act News. Ripple CLO Stuart Aldradi urges support as Trump to meet senators today. Our next tweet comes from Representative Brian Steele. It's time to pass Clarity and unlock the next 250 years of U.S. innovation. Let's watch this video.
Since 2017, the House Committee on Financial Services, alongside our colleagues at the Committee on Agriculture, have worked to craft a durable framework for digital assets that fosters innovation while protecting consumers and investors. Our goal is clear. Replace regulation by enforcement with clear rules of the road for digital assets. For 250 years, America has led the world in financial innovation. For 15 years, blockchain technology has redefined what's possible. For 10 years, Congress has worked to write the rules of this new financial frontier. And for 1 year, we've had a statutory framework for payment stablecoins. Now, it's our turn to meet the moment. Today, we'll hear from experts who are building the next generation of financial innovation, and we'll hear from them on why they believe the Clarity Act is essential. I think it's our opportunity to unlock the next 250 years of innovation here in the United States of America. It's time to pass Clarity.
Our next tweet comes from Bitcoin Magazine. Justin, CNBC report on Clarity Act progress. Senator Mark Warner supports the goals of the broader bill. Senator Bernie Moreno was quoted, "It would prevent any elected official from issuing or promoting a digital asset." Negotiations continue. Let's watch this video.
Hey, Carl. Well, yeah, look, Senate leadership, they really want to have a vote on this rules of the road crypto bill in the next few weeks before they break for their August recess. Big question right now, whether they're going to be able to get enough Democratic support to pass. And that is increasingly hinging on whether the bill is going to put in place some strict limits on the president's ability to profit from crypto. Now, Democrats, they've been pushing for this ethics language for months, but it's become even more pressing just in the last few weeks when President Trump's financial disclosures showed him making roughly $1.2 billion from crypto-related ventures alone during his first year in office. I spoke yesterday with Senator Mark Warner. He supports the goals of the broader bill, but he said that it is critical for lawmakers to limit the ability for elected officials, including the president, to profit from crypto.
The president has made billions in his family off of this. We're going to suddenly go forward and say, and elected officials can take advantage of that situation going forward. I think that would be pretty outrageous.
Senator Bernie Moreno, who met with Trump yesterday on the bill, said it would prevent any elected official, including the president, from issuing or promoting a digital asset, although it would not apply that restriction to other members of the family, including, of course, Trump's family. The lawmakers are still negotiating over the language of the bill. An updated draft was expected this week, but has yet to be made public. And of course, guys, as we know, the devil's always in the details. So we're keeping a close eye out for that to see how Democrats and industry respond and exactly what kind of vote we might expect later this month or in early August.
Real quick, if this helped, press the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to people who want the truth, not hype. And press the subscribe button if you're done being sold the moon. I've already got your next one right here. Go.